You know the woman in the grocery store that has all the crazy screaming kids hanging off her cart and she's like following you wherever you go? That was me, sorry. I have 4 kids. It just gets a little unruly. I saw an article recently that said it's harder to have 3 kids than it is 4, because when you have 3, you're under the illusion that you can have some control and some order. 4 kids, you just let go of the reins. There's no control here. Some highlights: I have a baby son, and my husband pulled up after work and saw me rubbing my face in the ground after he projectile vomited into my mouth. Couldn't close it in time, decided to drop on all 4s and eat some dirt. I now have a daughter and a son who are going through like the hormonal change, teen and preteen. And I'll just give you a quick snapshot of the difference between a girl and a boy going through that change. My daughter comes home and like everything's a catastrophe. Like, Ashley didn't return my text. I'm bad, go away, come here, go away, come here. No, I'll go away. Punch myself in the face and then you just tell me what you need. My son comes home, he's like, Mom, come here, come here, come here. I'm like, what? Look at this turd. I don't want to look at your turd. Mom, it's a huge turd. You guys, it was a huge turd. Everyone has to decide what kind of parent you're going to be, to look or not look at the turd. I married a missionary kid. My husband grew up in a missionary family. If you don't know what a missionary is, it's when Christianity is your job. Yes. And people paid money for him to live in a foreign country. He actually grew up in a French-speaking country known as France. Yeah, people were always visiting there. You know, people would pay to sponsor them and they'd go visit. And I wanted to go visit, but before I could, I had to sit through a 2-hour presentation, and then I could stay for the weekend. How is that not a timeshare, Scott? That's a missionary timeshare. I would too. My husband complained, everyone is always staying with us. I would too, yeah. Put me down for $200 for the Johnstons in the 3rd weekend of April. Okay? I take my coffee at 9. I sometimes feel out of touch. I was talking to another comedian because I got married before, we got married before online dating. So I've never done like the swiping on your Tinder plot or whatever you're doing. Never done it. And she was like, oh, don't worry about it. You can talk about like the old-fashioned, organic, natural ways. I'm like, are we talking about dating or oatmeal now? We met at work, how organic is that? It's like the packet with the hot water and the weird like flimsy apples. But I know the 80s. In the 80s, we were not concerned with organic, okay? I was a child of the 80s, and I remember my friends coming over, and we wanted to get a suntan in our little bikinis. And before we did that, we got my mom's Crisco and proceeded to slather Crisco on our bodies and lay out in the sun. It was the 80s, that's what we did. We wanted that golden brown, kind of human rotisserie tan. It worked better if you put some garlic and some rosemary in your mouth. Just kind of added to it. But we didn't have a World Wide Web. We were not bored, though. We could have 976 call anybody. 976 Corey Feldman and Corey Hayes. That's who I called. There were $8,000 phone bill later. It was an awesome time. And people are comparing themselves on Facebook. We didn't have Facebook. You needed an Aquanet and some shoulder pads. You were good. You were at the roller rink. You were fine. It was the 80s. Of course, retarded was like the appropriate term. I do remember seeing a premature Cabbage Patch doll. That was kind of a thing, a preemie Cabbage Patch doll. Not the fully grown healthy, but the premature. The crack baby. It was the 80s. My mom has a special ability. It's called pointing out everybody's faults. She's really good at that. She can even do that with avoiding all of her own. Yes. She told me that I should, I'm in my 40s, I'm 43. She's like, you should probably dress more your age. You dress kind of young. Well, that's some strong language from a woman who walked around in her bra while I was growing up. She's like, I did not walk around in my bra. I'm like, you're right. You walked around in my bra. But then she said, you know what? It's all good. I'm just so proud of you. You just be you. You be yourself. You go out there to these comedy clubs in these open mics with all these women half your age, and you get to show them what a 43-year-old woman aging face looks like. You're welcome. She was going to be here tonight, but she actually got hogtied and stuff in the broom closet. I can't confirm or deny how that happened. I'm a substitute teacher. It's a punchline in and of itself. It really is. And junior high, it's they're all infected like with the same virus called being in junior high. And they were calling each other retarded the other day. I was like, hey, knock it off. That's an offensive word. And then I realized they were saying that because the kid next to him snorted cherry-flavored Fun Dip off of his desk. Oh, okay, you were just being accurate. Go ahead.